Good afternoon, Monday, March the 2nd, 3:30 p.m. screen show. Not much has changed from this morning. Markets across the board green, up pretty good percentage-wise. You've got the SPY up 0.56% with the number going sideways today on no volume, folks. So I'm going to point it out right now, 55.7 million shares. So very difficult to read into this other than the bubble continues. The Dow Jones up 0.70 or 127 points right now has started the move back up, which will ultimately end up in a stair-step lower pattern as the power bars continue to do what they do. The NASDAQ, very clear, sitting outside of its upper price channel here with the number at an 88.48, starting the makings of a stair-step lower pattern. Also, with the power bars continuing to go lower. And then you have the Russell 2000, same deal. Power bars continuing the downward trajectory, 86.25. Pretty much sideways today. Gets another move to the upside maybe tomorrow, but I think we start rolling back down by Wednesday after everybody and their grandmother and deceased grandparents and great-grandparents get into this market by buying it. No sense of even going over here. There's not a whole heck of a lot to look at. Let me just see real quick on the large cap extreme over solds, if anybody. Again, there's your Chesapeake Energy at a 0.71. What else? Solar City is showing up now at a 0.55. Now that's interesting indeed. That is very interesting at a 0.55. I'm going to keep an eye on that one as far as the large cap sector is concerned. Okay, what I wanted to, again, just to take off from what I had spoken about earlier on the live screen show. Grant Williams, an individual who runs a very large hedge fund out of Singapore, become very interested in what he has to say, mainly because it's pretty much the same thing that I have been saying for a long time right now, but it's nice to know that there's somebody else out there thinking the same. And he has a couple interesting pieces here that he had talked about over the weekend here, and one of them being that he made mention to those who have made long, successful careers in money management are realizing that the system has morphed into a strange beast they no longer recognize nor trust. Fear of epic, perhaps historic, dislocations in price when the current market reverses is causing more and more of the quote-unquote smart money to sell out now and seek safe harbor. Again, we've been pretty much saying the same thing in those regards. And he also goes on to say here that, how unusual is it today, the current market circumstances? And his thought was that answer is only going to be revealed once this is history. He goes on to say, I think if you drop anybody into a momentous period in history, it's really tough to see it at the time. It's only when you look back on these things, when the benefit of hindsight, that you really see how historic they really are. But I think for many people right now who can forget the narrative and can forget what they are being told by various interested parties, if you could stand back far enough, take a practical look at what's happening, I think it's much easier to see certainly how far from normality things are. I mean, we have quantitative easing in Japan, QE10. We've had the Fed print $4 trillion in the last several years. As you've said, we all have these countries in a race to the bottom with interest rates. We've got currency wars. There are so many things that are happening that really aren't things that you expect every day. And for them all to happen together is absolutely unprecedented. And so everywhere you look, that word unprecedented is more and more in every daily use. We've had the reintroduction of volatility into the markets, which has kind of almost passed people by because the focus is exclusively, it seems, on these all-time high levels in stock markets, which, again, you can argue how extreme the bubble is, but I don't have any doubt that we are in yet another bubble. And again, he goes on and on about this stuff in the markets in general here. And it's really pretty much what we've been saying. I don't know when it's going to end. We just know it's going to end. And it's going to be quite historic when it does. So I just got to wait and be cautious. The numbers tell us to be cautious here. And he also goes on here, he talks about the financial system that we've all grown up and every economics textbook talks about. It really doesn't exist anymore, he said. It's not going to be obvious until everybody until it stops working, and very, very smart people are very, very nervous about that. So, over the next couple of days, I'll probably have more and more excerpts from this individual here, but it is quite unprecedented. That avalanche, maybe that's not even a proper term, but again, I think everything is definitely pointing to 2016 when this all occurs here. So, as long as we can get the NASDAQ closed over 5,000 now, this will be on all of the TV shows, the financial, the business networks, so on and so forth this evening, that they could finally say that the NASDAQ is now back over 5,000 for the first time since the dot-com era, which is great for marketing and all that kind of stuff there. So it is what it is. I cannot tell you to go out and start buying stuff because that would be suicidal. That would be the absolute wrong thing to do. So hopefully you are, in agreement with me here with what you are seeing instead of letting your emotions take control of you here, because this is going to end very badly. No question about it. Individual stocks are already looking apart. I mean, folks, here's GoPro. This was a darling at 100, right? For everybody, or at 90, wherever it was back here in the day. Everybody loved it back in October. Well, it's gone down to $39.93 right now. So one by one, they're starting to pick this off, and the markets are going to be picked off one by one here. And it's not going to be pretty. And the people who are left holding the bag unfortunately are going to be blown up. So, again, focus on what your eyes are showing you. Focus on what's really important. It's not that we're at all-time highs or the NASDAQ has crossed 5,000. What's really important is what you're seeing here with the power bars, with the volume, with the numbers. This is the important stuff. The risk range, this is the important stuff. So, okay, I'll leave you with that, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. Have a good evening.